Everybody here at Dead on Dave Productions has a basis of wrestling. Most of us do. We love wrestling. Dead on Dave Productions was built off of wrestling. We love it. We live it. We breathe it. I love it. I live it. I breathe it. When wrestlers pass, it gets a lot of attention. But what doesn't always get a whole lot of attention is when the support system of a wrestler or wrestling personality passes. And unfortunately, that has happened in the last 24 hours with the legendary commentator Jim Ross. His wife, Jan, was struck while riding a Vespa. Unfortunately, she was not wearing a helmet. She received multiple skull fractures and was put on life support and subsequently has passed away. Our deepest condolences to the Ross family. Nothing but love and outpouring of support. Just take a moment and think about everyone that you love in your life a little bit more today, because you never know when this ride's over. So, nothing but love, Jim Ross.
Real talk, the metaphor messiah, man. I got this one. Let's go. You ever seen the morning star? Mr. Metaphor Messiah, back to show you who we are. I represent a legacy, a pothead like the 70s, a different kind of mind.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy, Dead on Dave. And this is a very special Dead on Dave Live because I just realized I haven't done wrestling like all week. And I'm sorry to cut the intro short. I didn't mean to. I hit the wrong button because, as always, I'm awful at what I do. But that, of course, was Morning Light by Real Talk, the Metaphor Messiah. I apologize for cutting it off right at the end there. But hey, I'm awful, and I can't help it. But we are live. We're going to be talking wrestling. We're going to hit everything that's going on in the wrestling world. There is so much going on right now. We are 10 days out from WrestleMania, and the news is fast and furious. There's so much happening. Rumors are flying everywhere, and not even about WrestleMania yet. There's unbelievable amount of hatred happening in the wrestling community. The Hardy situation continues to take turn after turn. We're going to talk about all of it and more. Plus, we're going to take all of your questions, comments, concerns, hopes, dreams, loves, likes, and of course, calls. Go ahead and call in a little bit later on Skype. David Vancura, DAVIDVANCURA, and of course, the number 702-751-2902. That'll be later on. We're also going to take calls in Discord. Let's get right into it. The big rumor, the big story, and yes, there is some of it that has already been kind of discounted. Ring of Honor is already disputing some of the claims that are happening right now. There's a lot of rumors going around, and I want to stress rumors. Now, they are fairly heavily set rumors, but rumors nonetheless. Ring of Honor is reportedly in talks to be sold to WWE. Now, this is not a new rumor. This is a rumor that seems to strike up every so often and has kind of been around this heavily since August, but has gone away and has now kind of gone back. And now it is being reported fairly heavily by the Wrestling Observer newsletter that WWE is in talks with the parent company of Ring of Honor, Sinclair, to buy the company for the tape library and ultimately remove another competitor. But it seems like there's been more to that, and there's a lot of rumors and details that are coming out that seems to be a little bit more, that there are legs to this rumor. More than likely, it is nothing but a rumor and nothing will come of it. I would not place very high percentages that Ring of Honor will be sold to WWE, but the timing of things kind of makes sense more than they have in a while with the network, with some other things. I'm wondering if some kind of deal is going to be worked out with Ring of Honor at some point, especially when you throw in this added nuance of the Hardys, which kind of makes more sense. We'll talk about that in a moment as well. There's so much with all the stars that are back right now in WWE. So many of their careers and some of their best matches took place in Ring of Honor. It would make a lot of sense if this deal were to happen at some point. Ring of Honor has had reasonably sketchy history over the past few years with financials. Now that is somewhat gotten better, but there's a lot of people that I have talked to that have told me that a lot of the deals that you hear about are not exactly what they seem to be. A lot of pay per play appearances, deals are still being worked, which is becoming less and less the norm, but still holds kind of true in Ring of Honor. There are some guaranteed contracts, but certainly not as many as some of the other organizations. All these things lead to a lot of heavy burdens. And so if the WWE is making an actual real offer, and there is some guarantees like these new details that are coming out about potentially the show staying alive and finding new life on the WWE network, well, that might be something that Ring of Honor might be interested in. Now, once again, they are saying that there is not a big probability of this happening. In fact, I guess Mike Johnson or Mr. Johnson, whatever his first name is, I'm sorry, has already kind of vehemently denied this. Now, he could be doing that just for business reasons because the leak came out. Who knows? Who knows? So there's a lot of things to it, but it is an interesting rumor to come out around this time, and it gets more interesting because of the connection to the Hardys, which another big story in the wrestling world right now is everything that's going on with the Hardys, who are now the current Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, will be fighting on WrestleMania weekend with Ring of Honor at their big supercard event. So they're going to be in the area, and there's all kinds of rumors that their deal, their contract might expire that night, potentially so they can make an appearance at WrestleMania because they could be rejoining WWE. There's all those rumors going around. Apparently there are more talks heating up between the Hardys and WWE. Maybe all of this is linked. Maybe it's not. There's a lot of who the hell knows at this moment. But it is interesting, and it would make a lot of sense for the Hardys and ultimately Ring of Honor if this was some kind of strange package deal. For one, it's going to help the Hardys. All right, this would help the Hardys huge because the legal situation currently with TNA, which is getting more interesting there. TNA, if you don't know, has now placed trademarks, the little TM thing, on anything that says Broken Hardy on YouTube. And let me tell you, according to everything that I've read, nobody has been granted trademarks for that name yet. Rebby Hardy did put in the trademarks weeks before TNA did, and there's no way of knowing for sure who's got accepted, who's got rejected, but everything that I have read and everything that I have heard through the grapevine, nobody's been granted trademarks yet. So TNA might be making some mistakes, and of course this led to, once again, Rebby Hardy going absolute apeshit on Twitter when people let her know that TNA was trademarking the name on all of the YouTube videos. She said, "What?" And she goes on to further, and I'm just going to read the tweets as they are. Language warning in effect. Rebby Hardy goes, "Nice try, except for it's my trademark, documented as filed long before you dumb stooges tried to play yourselves. Slow clap." Real Jeff Jarrett. She goes on to say, "Where is the TM after the names of the characters y'all actually created? Fucking scum of the earth, man." Ed Nordholm and Real Jeff Jarrett. She goes on to, "I do appreciate it being put on this video, however, being that I shot it and was not paid for the footage, nor did I ever sign a release." So Rebby Hardy continues to throw out more inklings of evidence that she's probably going to be using in court when this legal battle does eventually find its way there. She goes on to say, "You guys are really helping my case. The list of offenses stays growing. Like, really? Thank you, Ed Nordholm." And Jeff Jarrett, "Dumb fucks. It just blows my mind how dumb these people are. Unbelievable." She continues on. "Hey, Nordholm, Jeff Jarrett, I know you're up in your feelings about the boys leaving and all, but it's healthier if you just," and she put a video of Let It Go, the Frozen, she's the mom. Rebby Hardy also goes on, "Out there acting like scorned exes. I almost feel bad for them. Bendito. But then again, nah, hashtag fuck that owl." Best part of all of this, TNA thinks they're hurting Matt with this. He's gonna be just fine. Can't undo damage you've done for yourself, though. Now, look, this gets interesting because of the whole situation now, potentially, of the Hardys going to WWE. Now, whether or not there is irrefutable evidence of who owns it and who created it, which I do think there seems to be more evidence to the contrary of what TNA is trying to say, that this actually is more created by the Hardys. Now, the question is there a contractual obligation to anything that they created while in TNA is property of TNA? I have a feeling that because of the type of contracts that the Hardys probably renegotiated when the whole Broken Brilliance thing was happening, the Hardys know that that clause is not in their contract. That's why they are so crazy with this. That's why Rebby is so steadfast. Say what you want about Rebby Hardy, and I know a lot of people don't like the way she's speaking and feels that she is hurting the cause, but she seems to be a fairly savvy businesswoman. I got to give her some credit on that. I've checked her out a little bit online. I've seen some of the stuff that she has done running the store, and she has created an awful lot with the Broken Brilliance situation, even though I still fucking hate it. And it kind of makes me sick that I have to defend this entire situation. I was talking to Andre Corbeil about that earlier, just like, I can't believe I actually have to defend any of this, but I do. So it's getting more and more interesting by the day. And this is where, once again, all these rumors start to tie in together, with Ring of Honor being linked to WWE as well as the Hardys. Now, the Hardys could simply join WWE just because they know, with all the information that is currently being put out and they possess, you get those WWE attorneys in on this, and it's fucking game, set, and match. They're going to eat TNA alive. Eat them alive, because there is not a lot here, man. There's just doesn't seem to be. Now, I could be 100% wrong on this. I'm going off a feeling. I'm going off the things that have been released, and there's not a whole hell of a lot coming out from the TNA side. Now, that could be very strategical, but I'm not 100% sure at this point. It seems like all the momentum is on the Hardys' side here. And the fact that they are not relenting all that much, the fact that TNA is going to very, very great lengths to try and stop some of the things the Hardys are doing, I don't know. Joe Martin donated $1. Dave, here's money. Thank you, Joe Martin. I appreciate that. Thank your mother, because it's her money. It's not your money. I'm sure your mom, I hope your mom knows. Get your parents' permission, kids. Don't just steal your mom's credit card or anything like that. But I will accept your $1. Thank you very much. Until your mom calls in, then I'll explain to her that she's got a rotten child. Rotten. But donate more, guys. Not Joe Martin. Anybody else, I don't give a crap. I'm just kidding. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate that. So there's a lot going on with this entire situation. It continues to kind of spiral out of control. Nobody exactly knows where it's going. And I'm just not sure at this point how it's going to be resolved. I do have a feeling that all of this could come together, and it wouldn't shock me in the next 6 months if we see not only the Hardys in WWE, but if we see Ring of Honor on the WWE Network. Again, it's just one of those things that I'm having a feeling about, because it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. Now, there would need to be some deal in place, because I don't want Ring of Honor to go away. And I don't think WWE does either. I think they want them to be stronger, and maybe by giving them some sort of a deal where they can retain everything that they do, especially with the talent. They got a pretty loaded roster at the moment, a fairly strong roster, one of the stronger rosters they've had since the 06-07 era. It's fairly strong at the moment. They got a lot of great characters, a lot of people that are, but the problem is a lot of them are mainstays in other companies, and that does make things a little bit more complicated. But if deals can be worked out and a main core of the Ring of Honor guys could come over and get a show going on the network, this would set a precedent that I think the network truly, truly, truly does need to establish. This precedent needs to happen. We need to see more independent wrestling on the network. I feel eventually the network needs to become the Netflix for professional wrestling. Take a cut, but let's get these independent promotions and these other fledgling promotions out there, and let's get people watching wrestling again. And I think the network could be used for that, as long as they don't screw with the content. And I'm not 100% sure that they will. So just my feelings on all of that. Now, Chris Payne says, Dead on Dave hates the Hardys gimmick and hates the Young Bucks. Yes, I hate the Young Bucks. And the thing is, I really do. I hate the Young Bucks. Not a big Omega guy. I think they're bad for the business, for the same reason why I think the Hardys are bad for the business. Now, I know what you're saying. Well, that sounds like Jim Cornette talk. And in some ways, it is. And that leads us to the next story that we want to talk about tonight. Because Jim Cornette is very, very well known for speaking out against anything that breaks kayfabe, anything that goes against the old ways. He doesn't like guys wrestling 9-year-old girls in the ring. He doesn't like guys wrestling sex dolls. He doesn't like all of the killing and stuff that's happening in different promotions. He's not a fan of it. I think it hurts the business. And most of the time, I agree. 100%. I agree with him. I think it is bad for the business. I don't think there's a lot of people who can connect with it unless we completely kill the industry of what it was and turn it into nothing more than a television show, and everybody has to accept it for that. And I just don't think there's enough people out there at the moment that will. Hence the low numbers for all of those promotions that are doing things like that. That being said, I do feel that Cornette historically can be incredibly short-sighted when he goes on his tirades, when he goes on his rants, when he hate fucks the world, which he is very well known to do. And it worries me when he goes a little bit crazy, because over the last week, the WWE released one of the best things they have released in the last 15 to 20 years. It is in there. For me, it's on my top 10 list of things the WWE has done since the Attitude Era. I love Southpaw Regional Wrestling. Now, I know what you're saying, Dave, that was just a KFC commercial. You're not wrong. That's really what it was, but it was so brilliantly done. And Jim Cornette, I know Andre Corbeil was also not a fan. There's a lot of people who were not fans, some of the older mindset type guys, because A, they feel it's bad for the business. It's the guys not taking their gimmicks seriously, making jokes of themselves. That's Cornette's defense. Other people's criticisms are, it's such a blatant shot at the regional territories that McMahon himself killed. Why can't he just leave the legacies alone? And all of this. And to that, I say, grow the fuck up, kids. It's not that big a deal. Territories were dying anyway. It was nowhere near as healthy for the business as some people like to fucking say it was. There was some health to it, but the reality is wrestling was moving the way that McMahon saw it going, and he simply went with it and made it better. That being said, I can understand some of the harsh feelings that some people will have with this type of content until they just realize it's a goddamn joke. It wasn't even a malicious joke. It was like semi-pro. That's where I looked at it. I saw this as the semi-pro. Remember the movie with Will Ferrell and stuff where they're making fun of the ABA and all that stuff? It's the exact same thing. They were poking fun at organizations that used to exist, that no longer exist, that did a lot of the ridiculous things that Southpaw Regional Wrestling parodied. You saw a lot of this stuff. If you watch regional wrestling in the 80s, you saw a lot of this type of content. Of course, this was dialed up to 11, but still it existed. And I think it was absolutely brilliant. And I think that Jim Cornette has lost it completely on this one. I know a lot of people are going to support him because they find him very entertaining. They love his rants, but I think he takes it a little bit too seriously sometimes, and it might be one of the reasons why he's no longer in the industry. Now, I know that's going to be an inflammatory comment, and people are going to be, well, Jim's in there because he doesn't want to be in there. He can do what he wants. Well, okay, well then, if he knows so much and he's so fucking right all the time and he's so fucking brilliant, then why isn't the industry like that anymore? It's because he doesn't accept the one fact that every other promotion in the world seems to be accepting. Kayfabe is dead. And it's not because wrestling killed it. It's because technology killed it. The internet makes it impossible to believe the things that we believed 25 years ago. You don't have to go to an encyclopedia. You don't have to read a book anymore. Now they're there constantly on Google, all these different websites inundating you, especially if you are a wrestling fan. All the internet needs to know is that you're a wrestling fan, and you're being inundated with stories constantly on Twitter, Facebook, whatever the case may be. And you're getting spoilers. You're getting backstage news. You're getting the stuff that you would have to send away for and join special clubs back in the 80s and 90s to get these magazines that would come out, in most cases, the really good ones, only once every 3 months. And by the time you got them, all that stuff was 6, 7, 8, 9 months old. And it didn't matter anyway. Nowadays, you're getting instantly. It's a 24-hour news cycle. Technology killed kayfabe and nothing else. Nothing else. And it's never coming back. The genie is out of the bottle. It's never being put back in. That is just the reality, and you've got to accept it. Because when you don't, and you try to play it too straight-laced, and you try to act like things are real, and you're trying to protect the business and protect the gimmick, fans are now going, motherfucker, really? If they can't keep the spoilers off of Walking Dead and Game of Thrones out of people's minds, why the hell do you think it's possible to control the flow of information in the wrestling world? It's impossible. It's impossible. And Jim doesn't accept it. Does not accept it. Will not accept it. And if he does accept it, he just chooses to ignore it and get angry about all the things that he can't fucking control. It is what it is. I don't know what to say. It's just, if you can't enjoy Southpaw regional wrestling, I don't know what to tell you. You're broken. You're broken on the inside because it's brilliant. It's hilarious. It's so good. So good. Yes, it's a KFC commercial, but that's why I give it a pass. Because it was just a brainchild, stroke of genius. So there you go. Ginger Heat, do you think the next generation of WWE, aka post Vince, will change it? No, because I think Hunter is that next generation. I think Triple H is that next generation, and I think that he's got his own plans, and I think we're seeing a lot of those plans. So no, I don't think that anything's going to change. I think some things will change, but a majority of it, especially because it makes money, is going to stay the same. By the way, the WWE is trading at $22 a share today, so say what you want. Normally I don't do this, but as always, the guy who's calling in now does not give a shit about my time schedules. He does not give a shit about my show. He does not give a shit that I'm in the middle of something. He does not wait for invitations. He does not wait for openings. He just simply rams his big fat fucking head in my shit whenever the fuck he wants. Of course, I'm talking about the man from North Kakalaki, the beacon of positivity, my good buddy, Tommy NC 2010. What do you want, you fucking lunatic?
I just want to say I wanted to give my opinion on the topic you're talking about.
Please.
And,
Please. Go ahead.
I really think that I was watching some of the things that you were talking about. I really think that it was entertaining. It really showed you a lot about some of those old wrestling circuits and a lot of things. And I think Cornette has a way of delivering. That's what people love him about, is he's very gritty, he's very determined, and he has been spat on by the industry. And also, Dave, what is your opinion about that Cornette's going to be inducting in the rock and roll guys into the Hall of Fame?
Yes, the Rock and Roll Express, Jim Cornette is actually going to be inducting him. A lot of people are surprised at this because Jim has never really seemed to have a lot of intention of ever going back to WWE. And a lot of people felt that there was very rare exceptions that would get him to go back. The Rock and Roll Express being one of those exceptions. It makes sense. He was the big manager of them. He loves those guys. So it makes that there's nobody better to put them in. WWE is taking a chance, of course, by giving Cornette a mic. A live mic, but it's going to be very interesting. And I like that they did it. It shows that they're willing to kind of let bygones get bygones and just kind of do their thing.
I would say Cornette is what CM Punk would call a pipe bomb. And I think WWE are probably standing closely in case Cornette says anything else. They'll cut his mic like WWE normally does.
No, actually, you know what? If you've been watching the Hall of Fame stuff, they haven't cut anybody's mic. They've been giving a lot of people who you thought were going to be unbelievably controversial. They've been giving them open reins. They haven't cut anybody. The CM Punk pipe bomb thing, that was a skit. That wasn't real. It was a work. That was a half shoot at best. It was all bullshit. But with the Hall of Fame stuff, they've been letting these guys go. They let Medusa go. They let her do her thing. They gave an open friggin' mic to Lanny Poffo, for Christ's sake. They don't have fear of this anymore. Why? Because I don't think there's that pettiness that a lot of people think still exists. Why do you have to be petty when you clearly fucking won? You can still be petty in certain circumstances, and they do. Don't get me wrong. They do. They did it with Sting. They do it with people every now and then. I get it. But overall, You don't need to silence these people anymore. You know why? Because they're making you money. The fact that Jim Cornette's getting a fucking open mic, a live microphone, I am not missing the Hall of Fame. It's not happening.
Oh, geez. I'll be. What day is the Hall of Fame supposed to be on?
They have changed it up this year. The Hall of Fame is no longer the night before WrestleMania. Now it's 2 nights before WrestleMania on the Friday, because NXT is going live the night before WrestleMania now. So it'll be Friday night, Hall of Fame. Next Friday night is Hall of Fame. Saturday night, NXT TakeOver Orlando. And then Sunday, the granddaddy of them all, WrestleMania.
Do you feel like that this WrestleMania is underbooked and really doesn't have a lot of interesting matches in it? Or do you think that we're going to have an interesting WrestleMania?
You know, it's kind of crazy when you look at the matches one by one, and I'm going to do a round table on this next week. I'm going to have a whole bunch of people on. We're going to have a great time. When you look at the matches one by one, I think that if you're not interested in some of the people, then I think, yeah, it's going to be kind of hard. But there's a lot of really good, interesting things that have been happening the last couple of weeks that are starting to build to these matches. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of criticism over Undertaker and Roman Reigns and Goldberg and Lesnar, but I mean, you go deeper than that. Austin Aries and Adrian Neville should be an absolute barn burner of a friggin' match. Triple H, Seth Rollins should be an absolutely brutal fight, a fight, not a wrestling match. It should be an absolute great fight. I'm liking what they're doing with Baron Corbin and Dean Ambrose. I think that is very interesting. Shane McMahon and AJ Styles should be great. That should have some great high spots in it. Some of the other things I think are going to fall a little flat. The women can deliver. Will they? I don't know. There's a lot happening. So I think there is a lot that I'm excited for, but I'm not overly optimistic that it's going to be executed wonderfully. You know what I mean? It's one of those could go either way. It really could. But I think there is intrigue, and there's a hell of a lot of names on this card.
Also, Dave, there's a question I wanted to ask Tommy C when I was on his show, but I never got a chance to ask. I want to ask you now, if you were to compare your podcast, you and Tommy and Colossal's podcast with Baited, which company would you be, WCW, or would Baited be WWF? Who would you say your company would be if you were in this situation?
It's a hard question to answer because Baited isn't what Baited's not Baited anymore. Baited's a different show. Baited was Colossal, Keem, and Tommy. That was Baited. What they're calling Baited now isn't Baited. It's not the same show. It doesn't have the same feel. It's not as interesting. It's not as entertaining. And it just seems like they're kind of putting it out of obligation. It's not fun to listen to. It's none of that. That's not a dig at Baited. It's a dig at the current iteration of what Baited has become. So
you're saying Baited, it's WWF and you guys are WCW. That's what I'm simply.
No. I think the name Baited of what it used to represent was one of the best podcasts, period. It's not that anymore. I think Catch 33 is a better podcast. I know that we can't get our episodes out very often, but I think quality, when you look at quality per episode
over quantity,
I don't think that they touch us. I don't think this new... Now, look, I'm not saying anything that we have done is better than the original Baited, because the original Baited, like I said, it was amazing. It was amazing, but that's not there anymore. That's dead. It doesn't exist. So that's my answer to that, but I really don't want to go into it too much more than that. All right, buddy?
Understand, Dave, and I want to say that you're doing an amazing job here being on the forefront as a reporter for WWE. I have to say that you're probably
I am not a reporter. No, Tommy. And I'm certainly not a WWE reporter if I were a reporter. No, I'm a wrestling fan that talks to a lot of people and reads a lot of shit. I am nothing more than a fan. I am not an expert. I am not a reporter. I'm just a fat guy who loves this industry. That's it.
You're not that fat. You're a pipe bomb.
Now, I think you're using that word differently now, but it's okay. All right, Tommy, go ahead and tell the kids where they can find you. I'm going to get your big ass out of here.
I am Tom. Yes, big ass is at over 100K subs. Tommy NC 2010. You can find me youtube.com/Tommy NC 2010, delivering the positivity and entertainment, jumping off the top rope, and just putting people through solid steel tables. And subscribe, support. Stay positive.
By the way, I did not mean big ass as in 100,000 subscribers. I meant big ass as in you're fatter than I am. That's what I meant. You weigh more than me now. Yes, you do. Because I don't buy for a second that this 200-pound bullshit. I don't buy it for a second. Get your ass on a scale right now. I guarantee
I'm not a scale.
I weigh less than you at this moment. I am 286. I'm under you, Tommy NC 2010. Eat it. Eat it. Eat it with cheese.
Yuck, I hate cheese.
Oh, God. Just another reason to get you out of here.
I'll eat on pizza, not eat on a hamburger.
Good God. Oh, God. You're not living. You're not living, Tommy. All right. I love you, buddy. You have a good night. Thank you for the kiss. Have a good night, buddy. Tommy NC 2010, folks. My good, but that was actually one of the better calls that I've gotten out of Tommy, to be completely fair. To be 100% honest here. So good call on him. Ginger Heat says, Colossal's Benoit coming to WWF. You're Eddie. Fair enough. Fair enough. New moderator in the house, Ginger Heat. Let's give a big shout out to everybody in the chat. Pittsburgh Boy is here. Let's go ahead and give him a timeout. Yeah, there we go. Mr. Handy Capable answered my Discord DMs. Dave, eat my dick. There are no DMs. There are no DMs. I don't see any DMs from anybody called Mr. Handy Capable. Fuck off. How about that? Luna Blarp is here. My goddess, Luna Blarp. Garth Overstein. And with an N. Carl Gibney, Chris Cressa, my German brethren, is here. Reputation Killer is here. So is Sleeping Angel. Sarah Small. Formal Ghost. Chris Payne. Mystic is here. Sexy Mystic. Guncan's hanging out. He might have blew out his knee earlier. Send good wishes. Walsh is hanging. All kinds of good people. I appreciate you guys. Make sure you support the channel. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel. Donate if you got them dollar bills, and maybe we'll drink a little medicinal soda if we get a couple donations going on. We'll have a little bit more fun. Got one more story I want to cover before we get to your phone calls. Mark Parrish is here, and so is Amy Lean Fry. That's a new name. How you doing, Amy Lean Fry? How you doing? One more story I want to talk about before we get up out of here, or before we go to your phone calls, I should say. The wife's coming home too, by the way. My wife is home. Here's the copious wife. She got a theme song tonight because that's how great I am. Hi, baby. Hi. How was your day? Yeah, I don't care too much because I'm on the air, but I'll find out as soon as I'm done. Last story I want to talk about before we get to your calls. Mauro Ranallo has been absent off of SmackDown for the past 2 weeks, and WWE has used a couple of different reasons that have been kind of found out to be bullshit. Now, they said he was sick this week, and that's why he was not there. But Mauro Ranallo is now being reported that he is not sick. And there's something a little bit else going on. And the Wrestling Observer newsletter reported this earlier, saying that he talked to two of Mauro's closest friends, and they apparently flipped and gave him up and told the real scoop of what's going on. This is not a big secret. If you follow Mauro Ranallo on Twitter, you know that he suffers crippling depression. He's struggled with mental illness his entire life, as far as I understand. He's an advocate for mental illness. He's lost time. He has missed shows in the past with other organizations due to depression, and apparently he is battling right now with a severe case of depression, and it's just keeping him out, and he's kind of just taking it easy right now. He's resting, he's recovering, he's recharging, and he will be back very, very soon. This is not a work situation. This is not a contract situation. This is not a him possibly leaving WWE situation. Apparently, this is all about Mauro Ranallo's mental health, and he is battling depression. Now, that is just what they're reporting. We don't know if it's true, but that is what's being reported based off of a couple of anonymous sources that the Wrestling Observer newsletter is reporting. So take it for what it's worth. It does make a lot of sense. So why is everybody getting on my problem, getting on my case about saying Mauro Ranallo? That is, I always hear, that's exactly how it says. Mauro Ranallo. What's the problem with that? There's nothing. Eat my balls. Eat them with some Francesca Fratatini sauce. I don't know what that meant. I see my wife naked in the background. I walked a lot today. I'm like on the end of, I'm crazy at this point. I'm like barely hanging on. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm kind of in autopilot mode. I'm not talking to you right now, guys. I'm talking to that beautiful woman in the background. I walked for over 5 hours today playing Pokemon Go. What, babe?
I thought you were streaming Pokemon.
No, I'm having controller issues and I haven't done anything with wrestling all week. So I wanted to give some wrestling love. Yeah. I'm not saying I'm saying Ranello. I've said it a million times. Ranello, not I'm not saying Shut up, fake ass twat. Eat a goddamn cockburger with cheese. All right? Time out for you, bitch. Okay. All right. So there it is. You guys got through all my shit. Now it's time for your guys. The show is yours. We're going to go into Discord. We're going to go on Skype. You can call in on Skype. David Vancura, DAVIDVANCURA. And of course, the number 702-751-2902. You can also use the Discord. The Discord. So there you go. Mr. Handicapable, he did DM me now. And he says, hey, I'm a sheriff in Clowns. Could I mod and catch 33 too? I also screen people and ability for, I don't know. I don't run that stuff. Don't ask me. I have no power. No power for Dave. None. So go ahead and jump into waiting to call. Since there's no calls coming in through Skype, let's go to Discord Foist. And let's take the person who's waiting. So jump into my Discord, go into waiting to call, and I'll get you on. Let's start with Will Dillon Gaming Fault here on the YouTubes. Rodimus8 on the Twitters. He's my good buddy from Scotland, so you're not going to understand a word that it says, but it ain't going to matter. Will, you're live with Dead on Dave. What you got?
I'll start singing as well, Dave.
No, that's my thing. Don't copy me. My God. Will, don't do it. What do you got for me, buddy?
First off, all thoughts to JR and his family over his wife, Jan.
I didn't want to do a full show on it. I didn't want to do a full show. I felt it was crass. I don't feel there was a lot of need, so I just wanted to put something at the beginning of the show, just kind of referenced it. I felt that was the right thing to do. But absolutely nothing but love to the Ross family. Just awful.
Yeah, definitely, dude. Basically, what I was calling about, Dave, was now, like, say, the card for next week. To you, what's the standout match you've got in your head for next Sunday?
I've got a couple that are really making my nipples hard. I'm really looking forward to Triple H and Seth Rollins. I just am. I think it's going to be a really, really solid match. I'm also looking forward to see what's going to happen with the Mick Foley situation. I know that he was fired, but I have a feeling something else is going to come of this. Another match, perhaps. Return of Finn Balor, even though I am reading a lot of reports that Finn is not going to return to the night after, potentially. But I am not so sure of that. I just don't know at this point. I'm also getting very juiced up for Shane and AJ. That should be a great fight. I'm very much looking forward to that. Dean Ambrose and Baron Corbin has me very excited. So there are quite a few things that I am looking forward to. And I got to be honest, I'm a little bit interested to see what they do with Undertaker and Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I'm the same. Like you said, the women's, that's the only one where hit and miss.
No idea.
The surprise one, if you asked me back when the story first started with the Randy Orton Bray Wyatt scenario, I hated the story, dude. But I want to see this pay off. I've just really loved the story. And I just can't wait
the last 2 weeks, they have really messed this up. They really have. I'm sorry. I like the little thing they did with him burning the house down. I thought it was kind of interesting. But now with Bray becoming super powered by the ashes, I don't know, man. They went too far with it. I felt there was a good story being told, and I detest, I hate the fact that Luke Harper has been just essentially dropped from everything, and it's annoying, and I hate it that they did that. They really had something special, and I feel that it has now been relegated, and I feel that it happened by design. The biggest match coming out of SmackDown is AJ and Shane.
Yeah, definitely did.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I hope for Luke Harper is him winning the Battle Royale. I'd love to see him win it.
I hope so. I'm not there's a bunch of options. I mean, Strowman obviously makes a lot of sense unless he is still somehow going to get involved with Taker Reigns, and he might, but I really don't know. Big Show makes sense. It's going to probably be his last WrestleMania. His contract expires next February. That means he's probably going to go into the Hall of Fame next year, so no WrestleMania match. Him becoming the first and only, I would assume, two-time Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal winner makes a lot of sense for him to go out on now that the friggin' Big Daddy Big Diesel Shaq match looks like to be 100% off. So we'll see.
Yeah, I can't wait for it next week. I'm looking forward to NXT, and I just can't wait for Mania. It's like yourself, Dave. As soon as the Mania season hits, that's it. All revved up for it, dude.
I think everything's been better the last couple of weeks. I feel Raw has been really, really good the last 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, have been. They have been
real good. SmackDown. This week I really was not a fan of what I watched of it. I didn't really love all of it. But you know, it is what it is. NXT has got some really interesting storylines. Unfortunately, nobody cares. Nobody's talking about it, and that is unfortunate. But it's just a product of, being strip mined. In Triple H's own words, he, in a conference call today, he used that term, and he's not wrong. It's been strip mined, not only from the on-screen talent, all the people that have gone up to WWE who are having huge roles. And I completely forgot about Kevin Owens and friggin' Y2J. That might be match of the night, by the way. I just want to throw that in there. But a lot of NXT guys are holding prominent roles at this year's WrestleMania. And let's just not forget that the main writer from NXT is now up doing main roster stuff now. So they've been strip mined. But still, I'm excited for Bobby Roode and Shinsuke Nakamura too. That should be fantastic. The triple threat tag team match is going to be straight fire. Asuka and Ember Moon, it's too early, but it's still going to be fun. And whatever else they are able to put on is going to be great as well. So I'm looking forward to a lot of it. We get to see Tommy End's fucking debut. That is going to be awesome. As Aleister Black, I think his name. Aleister Black is his name.
I think he has, did, yeah.
That's a pretty cool name. Him and Andrade Cien Almas, who I almost wrote off completely. He's become one of my favorite guys over there as of late. So I'm excited for the entire weekend. The Hall of Fame is absolutely loaded. By the way, and I'm glad that you brought it up as far as WrestleMania and everything next week. For those of you who are here for the YouTube stuff and all that and the drama and even Pokemon, next week, it's going to be a wrestling week. I'm probably going to do the Raw review live or reaction, SmackDown review live and reaction, probably NXT review live and reaction. I'm going to be holding a goddamn a round table next week. I'm bringing a whole bunch of people. I'm really excited about that. Ginger Heat and Andre Corbeil have accepted. We're looking to bring in a couple of special people. Hopefully, we're reaching out. Things could get very interesting is all I'm saying. Keep your eyes out for that.
I can't wait for that.
Oh, man. Some of the names that we're kind of fiddling around with right now, if any of them accept, it could be a hell of a night. So there's that. It's going to be a wrestling week. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff highlighting you guys. I want to know what your favorite WrestleMania moments are. If you want to make videos, small 30-second clips about your favorite WrestleMania moments or your favorite WrestleManias or your least favorite WrestleMania moments and least favorite WrestleMania matches, send them to me. Send them to me and I will use them next week. I've done this before. It was a couple of years ago. I did it with the Royal Rumble. I loved it. I'll do it again. You guys want to make small videos, you can send them to me on Twitter. I think I can rip them from Twitter and make a compilation. I would love to do that again. You can send them to me privately. I'll give you an email. I'll link you guys. We'll figure something out. But I really, really want to do that. It's going to be awesome, and I cannot wait.
Oh, I can't wait next week, dude. It's the build-up. It gets all the fans going. It really does. There's nothing else like this.
Yeah. We've seen bad builds to WrestleMania give decent WrestleManias in the past. And I'm not even saying that this year's WrestleMania is necessarily poorly built, but I think that there is some lacking in excitement in certain areas due to some predictability and due to some short-term booking. But I think the names that are involved, some of the things that potentially could happen, all of the air of mystery around certain people returning, this could be a hell of a show. It's going to be a spectacle. It's going to be a spectacle.
Yeah, it definitely will be, dude. I think, last year, like a lot of people complained that it was too long.
I didn't hate last year.
I didn't hate last year, and even the final match, take it for what it was. You knew the outcome was going to be it. But last year I enjoyed. The year before I really did enjoy, and WrestleMania 30 I loved.
Yeah.
29 was the only one I didn't enjoy. Then like 27 I hated.
Yeah.
But it was
I'm with you. The last 30, 31, 32, I enjoyed all three. I'm with you.
Yeah. There's like so many you can nitpick and go through, like even like just like throw like my favorite into like my favorite one, like won the match is WrestleMania 15. Rock and Austin won.
We're gonna get into all that. Will, don't start going down
point.
that fucking road,
know.
Will. Holy God,
sorry.
Transformers. I'm having flashbacks. Don't do that. No, you start rambling. I'll never get you the fuck out of here. We're gonna do that all next week. Good point, Ted. Good point. Luna Blart says, Dave, are you gonna do a live reaction for WrestleMania? I need you to get me through it. I don't know if I could do it that long. That's a long event. I don't know. I'm thinking about it.
6 hours, is it?
Yeah, I don't know if I could. It's 5 hours for the main show, 2 hours for the pre-show. So we're talking 7 hours. I don't know if I could do that, but we'll see. I'll decide. I'll get back to you. Will, let me get some other callers, buddy. I love you. You have a good night.
No worries, Dave. Thanks for taking my call as always.
Buddy. No problem.
Thank you.
Let's go to Skype. Let's see what's happening over there on the Skype. 3, 2, 3. You're live with Dead on Dave. What you got?
All right, class. Nigger.
Oh, you're so cool. Look how cool people are. God. He calls in waste time just to spam the Edward for literally 2.5 seconds. Congratulations. You're so cool. And now your number's blocked. So eat a dick. Oh, God. This is why kids need to be beaten more often. Oh, we got a donation. Let's look at the donation. Chris Cressa donated $1 no matter how many people shit on the product and talk down about WrestleMania. Just in the feeling that WrestleMania is right around the corner is amazing. It's the best time of the year. I couldn't agree with you more. It's awesome. It's a great time of the year. I'm going to have a lot of fun. Thank you for your donation. Let's take another call. 405. You're live with Dead on Dave. What you got?
Can you hear me?
I can.
Thank you. I want to ask about the Ring of Honor deal. There was rumors, like you mentioned about it earlier today, of what WWE's maybe buying Ring of Honor. I'll just hope it doesn't happen. Well, you think that will go well if it was true? I'm just saying.
It depends on how the deal is structured. I would like to see Ring of Honor kept around. I'd like to see the ownership, the people who are running it creatively, keep control, and I'd like to see it on the network. I'd like to see it be its own entity, and maybe they can send some guys down there. Maybe this is how they get done and over with the whole confusion over what NXT is. Maybe NXT could simply just actually be the developmental, because they tried to make it its own brand, but because it always has to be strip mined for talent, it's hard to make it its own brand. In fact, it's impossible. So keep it conjoined with the Performance Center and let them continue to pump out talent. And then maybe if you need a proving ground, send them a Ring of Honor. Keep the main talent there on Ring of Honor, except a few people who you might want to promote at some point. But really keep the mainstays part of it, and then allow some of these guys that you would have used to build NXT into an actual brand and help funnel in talent to Ring of Honor. I think it would work well.
I think so too. Thank you about that part. And I want to ask one more question. Is the Hall of Fame? I think it will be really interesting this year for the Hall of Fame and WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. During the same night of the Hall of Fame, I'm going to watch Bellator MMA. That's going to be an interesting fight also.
Mm-hmm.
With, what's his name? Chemo Slug. No, not him. Chemo, I'm sorry. My apologies for remembering all those fighters' names. And then Jackson. I'm sorry. It's just an interesting fight this Friday too.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Bellator. I got to be honest. I think it's a circus. I think they put a bunch of guys in there who have no business fighting anymore, and people are getting hurt because of it. I'm just not a fan. But I do love MMA, but Bellator is not for me. So I'll be watching nothing but WWE next week, and it will be Hall of Fame, because Hall of Fame is going to be straight fire. Oh my God. One of the best Hall of Fame classes I can ever remember. This is a great Hall of Fame class with amazing presenters. It's going to be great. NXT is going to be incredible, and WrestleMania should be a hell of a spectacle.
You know, I think I don't want to be a changer around of it. I think NXT will be. I think it'll be all right. It just depends on the story, but the match will be interesting. I can't wait for that part.
Well, Shinsuke, and glorious man Bobby Roode is going to be incredible. That's going to be a great fight. I'm looking forward to that.
I love this guy, Bobby Roode. He's one of my favorites.
Yep.
He's freaking entertaining. My
He is.
goodness.
I agree with that. All right, man, let me get some other callers. I really appreciate you calling in. You have yourself a really good night, buddy.
Same thing to you. Have a great day.
Take it easy. Good stuff. Let's take another caller. 480. You're live with Dead on Dave. What you got? Oh, no, you're not, motherfucker. Tried and failed. Let's go back to Discord. Excuse me, I'm bringing somebody else. Let's go to the sexified.
Hey, Dave.
Let's crack a lack in there.
Not much. I wanted to honestly, well, first off, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, because usually when I use these headphones, you can't really hear me.
You're good. Just mute my stream in the background if you could, please. Oh, you did. You're good. All right, go ahead. What you got?
Yeah. If you're hearing something in the background, this is just the TV. I'm downstairs.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I wanted to really talk about the ROH rumors. Honestly, if these rumors are true, and Vince is the one controlling this whole situation, do you have the same fear as me that this might become another WCW, ECW situation, where it's just going to get WWE-ified?
Well, you know, it's a little bit different situations. I think had ECW or WCW, either of them existed while the network was alive, or the network existed, that potentially they'd both still be around. The fact is, WWE realized that there is a hunger for outside of WWE product. It's the whole reason why they were going to get the British promotion, ICW. It's the whole reason why they were in talks. Now, I don't know if that's fallen through. I've kind of heard that deal has kind of fallen apart. I don't know if that's true, but I've heard it. We'll see. Time will tell. But the network needs more actual wrestling content and not just on demand from yesteryear. They need more tape libraries, which obviously Ring of Honor would be able to give that. But
Of course.
we need a different variety. We need something else that we're not getting on the daily basis from WWE. And I think the ability to bring in independent promotions, whether they're buying them outright, like they would be doing at Ring of Honor, or having some sort of licensing deal to have the shows on the network, it is the future of wrestling. I think this is where it's going eventually.
Yeah, but the only thing I'm afraid of is that WWE is going to step foot in ROH productions. They're going to try to change it up a little bit, like they like to do, because if it's not WWE product, I don't feel like they like it at all.
Oh, it depends on how you mean that. I think there are some safety things that every organization should be doing that they don't do. I think there's a lot of things that need to be cleaned up just for the long-term health of the industry. But the reality is nobody is suing Ring of Honor. Nobody's suing WCW. Nobody is suing ECW. Nobody is suing any of those entities. All the wrestlers, even the ones who primarily wrestled at all those other organizations and spent little time in WWE, guess who they're suing? WWE. So it's hard to use that logic all the time, because some of the things that WWE is doing is a necessity for the overall health and longevity of the business. So I think there are certain aspects that I think they should help govern when it comes to other organizations. Now, as far as creatively going, I don't think they should touch it. Let them be that type of product. And as long as they don't do that, which I don't really think they have an interest anymore, because they know that there is interest in other types of wrestling. They understand that. They've shown that willingness by bringing in things like the CWC and the British wrestling stuff. They are showing willingness to accept different styles and let them highlight, as long as they're not doing anything uber crazy. And the fact that they were going to let ICW on the network, and that's the most extreme organization like out there right now. They were going to let them on basically as is. At least that was the rumor. So I don't know. I think that it could work, but yeah, I can understand you being a little apprehensive. I get it.
Yeah. Like, if they only do the whole just like becoming a part of the network, like you said earlier, I could be a completely 100% down. Maybe have a little bit of ROH talent, sometimes invade Raw or SmackDown on the occasion, not often, but on the occasion. That sounds like a great deal.
Yeah.
But if this just because it becomes ECW all over again, it'll be hopeless.
Oh, it won't work. It won't work. People see through it. It won't work. And in that case, it's really not that bad of an investment, even if that happens for WWE, because that tape library, you can make the argument that the Ring of Honor tape library is more valuable to them than the TNA tape library at this moment right now, because there are so many guys that are in WWE that had some of their best matches ever down there in Ring of Honor. So that tape library has immense value. So from a business standpoint, there's no harm in doing this.
Yeah.
You got anything else on this, Mystic?
I don't know. I just want to mention that I'm going to be finally watching my first WrestleMania, and I am kind of hyped, but
You've
I don't know.
never watched a WrestleMania?
I've never watched a WrestleMania because before, when I was a fan, pay-per-views were like actual pay-per-views and cost like $50 to $60 each, and I could never afford that.
God bless the network. $10.
Yes. $10. Not even. I'm gonna get the free trial and then I'm gonna cancel the next day.
Oh, don't. You should keep the network's awesome, man.
I don't have a job. I can't afford the network.
So you never eat at McDonald's ever?
No, this is like $1.
You never eat. You don't eat out ever. You never eat any fast food.
No. Okay. No. Fast food and stuff like that is provided by the family. My parents are not going to fund my wrestling addiction.
Look, say, Mom, Dad, I love you and I appreciate the fast food, but cut out one fast food trip for me and get me the network, because it's the same price. It's one trip to McDonald's for you. Your Big Mac meal, that's basically fucking $10. Don't eat it. Say no. I don't want it. Give me the money. I want the network. I'll mow the lawn. Give me some shoes to shine.
I already have a job within the house. It pays me $20 a month. Half of that would be going to the network, and I need stuff, man.
You need to renegotiate.
Oh my god!
Aren't you 18?
Yes, I'm looking for a job. Twitch doesn't pay me enough.
Get you a job.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. Times are tough.
All right, Mystic. You have yourself a good night there, doll.
All right, you too, Dave.
Take it easy. Good stuff. Good stuff. Let's bring in my good buddy, man. We're going to wrap this thing up in a little bit. We're already done an hour. I don't know how much longer we're going to go. Let's bring in my good buddy who hopefully doesn't have a blown out knee. He does all the graphics here on Dead on Dave Productions. He is the one and only Guncannon 15. What's up, pal?
Well, it's not blown out. It's just sore as hell. And I went to the docs and they just said there was no tear damage. So it's just elevation, ice, and all that other fantastic stuff for a couple days.
Basically, they're telling you have a really strong case of vaginitis.
Sadly, yes, because it was weird. And I'm calling it a temporary case. I'm not Pittsburgh boy.
Right. So basically, you went to the doctor and they took a high-powered air machine and they blew all that sand out of your pussy, basically.
Yeah, I guess that's the long and short of it.
Well, that's good. Well, all right, aside from all of that, and I am genuinely concerned, about you. I hope that you're okay, and I hope that you have a speedy recovery, because I need some more graphics. I gotta talk to you later, because I got that round table thing. I'm gonna need a 4 grid. We're gonna test your skills. I need a 4 grid. Should be relatively easy though, to be honest. But if you got time, hit me up. What do you got for me, Gunny?
Well, the Ring of Honor thing, I mean, I completely get where you're coming from. There's a lot of value in the tape library alone. I mean, you've got Kevin Owens, you have, Sami Zayn, you've got AJ Styles, you've even got Gallows and Anderson in there too. It's just that tape library has a lot more in it than TNA's probably ever will, even with the Hardys. I'm going even with the Hardys, and that speaks volumes right there. You were talking about the English wrestling promotions and how they might be falling through. I don't think they are, because I think they have a few matches that are going to be going on during Access through the week.
You're talking maybe like the SmackDown titles and stuff, like the tag team titles and stuff?
No, those I think it was like IC something or other. I was checking.
Really?
A lot of those, yeah.
Okay.
A lot of those companies are actually having matches during Access Week.
But are they under the WWE Access, or are they just doing what the organizations always do and just make sure they're in Orlando during WrestleMania week? Because I know
they're during Access.
Really? Okay, that's interesting.
Yes.
That's interesting. I did not know that. That's some good information to know. Because, I mean, obviously, like Ring of Honor and everybody, they're doing shows that week, to try to capitalize as much as they can over the massive amount of wrestling fans that'll be in the area. And I'm not blaming them for that. It's good business. But to know that some of the independent organizations will be running shows under the Access banner, that's huge. That's huge.
Yeah, because it was something that came up on my feed. I think somebody put it up there, and they're going to be running shows during Access.
That's awesome. They're
going to have matches at Access. 205 is going to have things at Access too. NXT's of course going to have stuff there too. So they're definitely getting pushes.
By the way, I think there was a match on 205 Live this week that was redonkulous. I think it was Mustafa and Neville, I think. No, Austin Aries? Shit. I forgot. Somebody will correct me. Chris Cressa, help me out. Correct me. It was amazing.
It was Neville.
Neville, okay.
It was Neville.
It's skipping me in my head right now. By the way, Grapple Vision in the chat says, hey, Dave, do you think it makes TNA look bad that WWE just skipped over them and opted for Ring of Honor instead, or Ring of Honor interest? That's not exactly what happened. I think that there was a deal in place that WWE was going to buy. I feel that was happening. It was when Billy Corgan was going to be taking over. I believe this is how I think things were happening. I think Billy Corgan was going to get control. He was going to own the organization, and he was going to sell the TNA name and tape library directly to WWE. Then he was going to have some type of clause that he can continue on with the current roster, with the current everything, but under the Impact label, or maybe even name it something else, and start something fresh. That's what and he was going to use the money from the sale of the tape library and TNA name to fund his new venture. That's what I think was going to happen. And then at the last second, Anthem swooped in, made the changes, all of that thing happened. They funded everything, and however that came to be with Jarrett and all of them coming in, that changed everything dramatically, and WWE realized no deal was going to be made, and maybe that's when they switched focus to Ring of Honor. Now, all that being said, they showed initial interest of Ring of Honor around the same time as all the TNA stuff happened back in August. So maybe the WWE is just looking to buy up everybody eventually. Who the hell knows? So what else you got for me, Gunny?
Yeah, I just found that article. ICW and Progress are going to have matches there.
Oh, Progress as well? Nice.
Yep. So Progress, ICW, and they're listing them as Progress ICW superstars such as Jimmy Havoc, TK Cooper, Travis Banks, Dahlia Black, Tony Storm will compete. And so That's
God, I wish I could go to Access. Ugh.
I know Access is looking like because you're getting everything.
The
You're
whole
getting
week looks like it's gonna be awesome. I don't give a fuck that people are some people are down on WrestleMania. Dude, this is gonna be a great weekend. WrestleMania is going to be a spectacle. I think we're going to see the return of Hulk Hogan. I think we're going to see The Rock, Stone Cold will both be there. I don't give a shit. I still have interest in that. By the way, we got ourselves a supercard donation or super chat, whatever donation. Crappy Pose donated $2. This is my first donation. You deserve it. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, I think this week it's going to be incredible. Next week is going to be so much fun. I'm very much looking forward to a lot of things that's going to be happening, and my nipples are hard. That's all I'm doing next week. It's all wrestling, all of it, all of it.
no drama crap. It's all wrestling. Damn
Probably
it,
no
people.
drama unless something big happens. Then if there's enough money involved, then fuck all you guys. I'm just saying. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you right in the ear.
There's a YouTuber better be on fire. Damn it. That's all
Somebody
I'm saying.
better like lose a fucking left nut. Is what I'm saying. It's like a vagina is gonna have to fall off on camera, something like that. It's gonna have to be pretty drastic. But Gunny, look, I think I'm gonna get out of here, man. I'm tired. I'm gonna take one more. I think there's some weird person in waiting to call, so I'm gonna try that.
No, Garney. No
All right,
problem.
Gunny. You have a good night. Rest that knee, buddy. Talk to you later.
Yep.
All right. Final caller of the night. ... I
do not associate with niggers.
Yeah, you're an idiot. Oh my God. I love it. I love how fucking stupid people are. Enjoy your band, stupid. God. What the fuck? Like, I'm so... Prank me. Do something funny. Don't be a fucking lame. You're a lame. Do something funny. Come on, you joke. You big dork asses. Anyway, that's it, guys. Thank you all very much for joining me right here on this very special Dead on Dave Live. We talked about a lot of stuff. Hopefully, you will forgive me for not doing all the wrestling content that I've been doing and all that stuff. There's a lot of reasons for it, and hopefully you guys are understanding. We're going to be doing other stuff, and now more things are happening, and all the wrestling is coming back for this big week of WrestleMania, and as long as the interest in wrestling is still there, and I'm not being dragged down by all the constant bullshit, then of course, we're going to be doing more coverage of it, and WrestleMania has certainly got my nipples and interest peaked, and I'm going to be giving it all to you next week, so... There you go. Thank you very much for joining us. Get off my shirt, cat! You motherfucker. Thank you very much for joining us right here on Dead on Dave Productions. Hopefully you had a fun night. We will see you next time. Probably tomorrow. Oh, yeah, tomorrow. Nerd and the Jerk live. 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, 6 p.m. still. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, Nerd and the Jerk live. It's going to be a very special, overrated episode. So tune in for that. We're going to tell you everything that's overrated. We're going to have a great time. So thank you. We will see you next time. Keep it copious, folks. And remember, as always, if you don't have talent, have talented friends like Real Talk, the Metaphor Messiah, the amazing rapper extraordinaire, Jeff Duff Huffman over at Huffman's Hangout. Go watch his John Scarce video. It's pure fire. Tommy C's SFTP had a great episode tonight from what I saw. Amazing Chubbs interview yesterday. Go check him out. ColossalisCrazy, Andre freaking Corbeil, all of these people. Go check him out. Show some love, and we'll see you next time. And peace.